Jason Baffrey, we are live, sir.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Coach Talk TV, where we believe that coaching and coaches are an essential part of human development. You'll learn how having a guide in your own personal development can change your life, improve your relationships, and enhance your work experience. I'm Jason Baffrey. This is Rhonda Boyle, and you are watching Coach Talk TV, where we have coaching conversations that matter.
We do. Hey, everybody.
Is
this Wednesday? Wednesday,
yeah.
I keep forgetting what day it is. Are you having trouble keeping up with the day?
Yeah, with not leaving the house ever and not looking at a calendar and doing a show every day. Yes, I'm lost.
That's true. I think, you know what? I think a lot of us are in the same boat, though. So, hey, it's good to have company, right?
Yes.
Sure. Hey, you guys, we can't wait to introduce you to Steve Bousquet. He is an entrepreneur with us and a small business owner. And we're going to be talking about how managers and business owners become coaches for their people to coach them into success. And he has done that for sure. Yay. Hey.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah. So let's tell everybody where they can find us.
Well, we hope that you're joining us on our Facebook page, Coach Talk TV. You can find us Coach. I can't even talk today.
www.
Yeah, I think everybody knows that. And then you can also find us on YouTube. You can either search Coach Talk TV or go to youtube.com/C/Coach Talk TV. And find us on YouTube. You can also find our podcasts on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and all of your other favorite podcast outlets.
There you go. And today is day 8 of our Discover Coaching series, this series. And if you'll head over to our website, which is actually our Facebook page, right, you can review any of those reruns. And we do rerun them every Saturday, in fact. So we've got some great conversations with coaches all over the spectrum. And wow, coaching is just kind of essential these days, don't you think, Jason?
Yeah, absolutely. And we had a great show last night. If you missed it, please go back and watch that with Dina Ferrugia from out of New Jersey. And she's got a really incredible story and is doing some incredible work with her clients and has written a book, and you won't want to miss that discussion. But I'm looking forward to today also.
Yeah, me too. So, I've been thinking.
I'm shocked.
Who'd have thunk that I would be a thinker, but I am. So I have been thinking, especially in light of having Steve come on and talk with us about how important it is really for managers to be coaches. That's like the latest thing. Managers are not just about numbers and the plan. There is that, but how do you get the best out of people?
Yeah, and I really think that right now it's going to be essential for those managers to step up and be coaches, because they are dealing with uncertain times, they are dealing with uncertain plans, and if they can understand their employees better and guide them more successfully through this time and through this uncertainty, then I think they're going to come out better in the other end.
For sure. And, it's the emotional side that coaches can help manage, or help a manager become a better coach, is on the emotional side, helping not just the emotional side, but helping their people understand their genius and where they can, be more productive. Because, here's the truth, Jason. All we really want in life is to be able to give and serve and work and play in ways that are natural and innate for us. I mean, that's what we wake up for every day. It's not for money, it's to be able to contribute in ways that are positive, so.
Yeah, I think that's what touches our soul, if you will, and it's what gives us purpose. And, one thing that I wanted to clarify is that, understanding their emotions doesn't mean that you have to be their psychologist. It doesn't mean you have to bring them in and sit them on the couch and let them cry,
Please.
that sort of thing. But if you understand how they function as a human being and understand their strengths and their talents, and then you can help guide them through that to where they can best serve and how they can best be fulfilled, then you're getting a better employee as a result of that. And, in the long run, you're going to become more profitable, more, what am I trying to say?
Well, you'll be able to grow faster, so I see all of that as possibilities for people. So
yeah.
Wow. Well, let's get into it. Let's get Steve up here, and hang on, and I will fill you in on who he is. He is a blue-collar entrepreneur who started a small lawn care business in high school. Get this. And over 35 years, he has grown that business to 3,000 clients and a team of 25 people. He also owns Steve B Tours, a tour company catering tours to people with common cultural and historic interests. He's passionate about helping individuals on teams become more fully themselves using their strengths. Where are you at, Steve? Come on up and say hey to the people.
Hi, how are you? We're in Connecticut.
Yes, you are. Did I say you were somewhere else? No.
Nope, you're good.
Yeah, good. I was going to say, I might have put you somewhere else in the world because geography is not my favorite. But yeah, coming to us from Connecticut. So good to see you today.
Nice seeing you guys.
Yeah. So let's get started here and help us understand how you are coaching your people. What are you doing out there? And where did this idea come from that this was a way to move your company forward?
So we always coached our team, but not in a real formal way. So we started with People Map, which kind of gave them the four main ways they communicated, and that was helpful. But then we found the Clifton Strengths, and that really made their strengths clearer, how they communicated, where they were when they operated at their strengths, what those were. And so it just started by talking about the results from that strength finder, and then recognizing on a day-to-day basis how they use those strengths. And then it went from there. Just talking about it was really the best way to start.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that coaching is a conversation with purpose, with intention and looking for specific outcomes, which is determined in that coaching relationship. And that is exactly the way to get started for a manager to start coaching his people, is just to have a conversation around, that's neutral and kind of isn't really necessarily work related, right?
Yeah, no, it's not like it's not an evaluation. It's not work related. You just talk about their strengths. And then I ask them to give me an example of how they use them. What's their favorite strength? Which one do they overuse? And it's just that conversation starts them to start thinking about it. So the next time we have a meeting with them, they're like, hey, this is how my strengths showed up at home. Or this is how my strengths showed up when I had to talk with this customer, or I had to figure out this challenge, and this is how my strength showed up. So once the conversation starts, and my job kind of as a coach is to keep that in the forefront of their mind, and always looking how can they find an opportunity with their strengths.
How did your employees respond when you first brought this to them and you got into the strengths and you said, here, I want you to take this assessment and we're going to talk more about your talents and strengths? How did that go over with everybody?
So how this all, it started with I wanted to create a safe and supported culture in the company, because when I was at business retreats and business situations where people were safe and supported, the progress that they made at that time was just exponentially more than if they were not safe and supported. So when I brought that safe and supported culture concept to my team, they thought, oh, it's going to be kumbaya and that no one's going to be held accountable. But actually, it was the opposite. Is, do you have the resources, the time, the people, the machinery, the information to complete your goals? And then the strengths finder came right behind that with, are we putting you in your right job? So are you going to be successful based on the resources, the safe and supported, plus the strengths you bring? And we had 2 people that we found were in the absolute perfect job here in the company. So, and then we had some other people that, they were working as a silo on these projects. And when we found someone who had complementary strengths, we matched them up as a team. Then we saw that success just exceed our expectations. And that's the coaching beyond expectations.
Yeah, talk a little bit more about that. I mean, because Rhonda and I have mentioned before, how our strengths are opposite, and that's why we seem to work well together. But when you've got guys and gals that are going out and they're doing blue collar work, the kind of work that you do, the lawn care and everything, talk about how the strengths kind of infiltrate that and how they can complement each other in those types of roles.
Right. So we have some people who have high empathy, and interesting. You would think that they wouldn't be good salespeople, but because they feel what that person is talking to them about, they handle customers really well. We have people who a lot of the relationship strength don't even show up till 15 or 16. So we're not putting them in situations where they have to have a lot of customer contact. So we have some lawn technicians that basically are, they need to do repetitive. So they have high harmony and they need a lot of repetitive things. Then we have other techs that have high adaptability, high woo. And so we can have them do tasks that are not so repetitive, and maybe they'll take a route that is not so easy. It's just, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on, but because of their high adaptability, they're fine with that.
Great.
Yeah. So you're really helping your people tweak their job description and responsibilities so that they're more in alignment with who they really are.
Absolutely. Yeah. Even when we look at, so you're thinking, how could this apply to lawn care? So we'll have 8 techs go out, and we're actually matching up different types of routes to the tech's strengths. And so some of the guys can handle lots of little stops. In other techs, they want large, so they'll have high focus. So they want big properties, where the techs, they want, they have high activator, so they can do 30 or 40 stops in a day. So we're matching even how their schedules are based on their strengths.
That is just amazing. And I'll say that I think one of the reasons that you're able to do that is because you have 25 employees. When you get to a company that is, way bigger, it does become more difficult because of the hierarchy and the layers that they weave in. Would you say?
Yeah. So in 2016, I was at a high school, and they were doing the Bacon 10, and it was 10 attributes that they wanted the high school kids to have. And there was this engineer there, and he kept saying, we need kids to think for themselves. We want kids to think for themselves. Then he went on to explain how in his company, if you made a mistake, you were so ostracized that people stopped working. His company had become, and I think they had about 2,500 employees. It was a defense engineering contractor. The company had come to a complete standstill. And because that was not safe and supported, that kind of got me thinking. But in large companies, the management gets so focused on production and producing immediate results that they just basically gut the soul of everybody who works there and all their strengths.
You keep going back to that safety and support. And, it just occurs to me that, especially given where we are today in the world, with this big, pandemic that has closed companies, that people are at home reevaluating their lives, because right now many people don't feel safe and supported. And so as we go back to work, it's going to be a real big issue.
Yeah, it's going to be a big issue. And one of the first things we did when this started happening was have a meeting with our team saying everybody's going to have a job, everybody's going to be employed. But for those people who are not safe and supported at their work, it's hard to go to sleep at night wondering how you're going to pay your bills, and you're waiting for unemployment, or you're waiting for this, relief check. And so, how do you show up as a husband and a dad when you have that much stress and that much like wondering, how am I gonna land? How's my family gonna land?
Mm-hmm.
And then, we all have that struggle. Am I good enough all the time, regardless of what level of success you meet? And this is like really challenging people. Am I a good enough father? Am I a good enough husband? Am I a good enough provider? So, it's hard for people at a real deep level at this time.
Yeah. And I think that really wise companies are going to be looking at their wellness programs. And by wellness, I don't mean medical wellness. I'm talking about emotional wellness.
Right. And
yeah,
if you have leadership that can recognize that right up front, they're going to have a bigger impact on the company than just focusing on the bottom line. And, what's interesting with we focus on safe and supported, we focus on the strengths. We have some of the highest producing technicians in the company. They're in the top country. They're in the top 2-3% of the country. And we have one of the most profitable companies in our segment, and that is because it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to say, hey, I'm not sure about this, I need help. And instead of going on for years struggling, and so we can fix it and move on and excel, fix it, move on and excel. And we're actually expecting failure. That's part of the success. It's a teammate. They're teammates, success and failure.
How do you manage the expectations? I mean, not only of what you might have, or maybe you can speak to other managers that look at people and have certain expectations out of them, but then also personal expectations within your employees.
So, managing expectations, I think I always have higher expectations for people than they've had themselves. Very few people have gone through life where everyone's like, you can do it, you can do more, you can do this. So, but that's how I think with my individualism and maximizer. And so I'm always expecting more people to do more and coaching them that they can do it. And I'm really a cheerleader here at my company for everybody, and that's my main role. And on a personal level, I had a lot of expectations of people that they weren't meeting, and I developed a little frustration, which turned into anger. And with the Strength Finder, it really helped me to say, okay, that's my expectations. That's not their strengths. And it helped me evaluate that, let go of kind of the anger, and see them for who they were. And then they moved on, then they could live up to their strengths and do something more than I ever thought they were possible of.
Yeah, it's really amazing when you can find a tool that you can use that kind of brings logic back into it, and you can get out of your head and not live with those expectations that you have for other people, but really look at them for who they are instead of what you want them to be, and then be able to deal with them on a different level than you ever have before.
Yeah. So after, I gave 3 or 4 people the strength test, I'm like, oh, I can figure everybody out. I was never right. I mean, some people I was not even close on, but once we got the strength test and we met and unpacked it and talked to them, it changed relationships in our company and even in my personal life. It's really a game changer, because we see people how we see them. We don't see them how they are. So, and when you have the opportunity to see them for who they are, people are way more wonderful than I ever imagined and could ever experience without that.
Yeah, it's so true. Let's check in with our audience because Joanne has tuned in and she is concerned that nothing will change until upper management and leaders, CEOs and the like, really understand this issue, that people need to feel that safety and that, because otherwise people will just go back to towing the line because their fear factor, their, like a desperate, uh, people would have desperation, I think, and unless she says that change comes from the top, focus will be on rebuilding shareholder value. So I know that what you're saying is certainly possible. And especially for larger companies, Joanne, I do think that wise companies will be investing in their people first because they're going to fail. Like, we're not even kidding. I don't think people are going to just, settle for what we had before, because we recognized that was something a little not right with how we were working before. You think? I don't know. Good for conversation, right?
Yeah. So I have a saying. It's a Sicilian saying, right? The fish stinks from the head down, which means it all starts with leadership.
Uh-huh.
And I'm a huge Simon Sinek fan, and people are human first, and then they can produce. But if you treat people like humans and you treat them in a safe and supported manner, we way outproduce 97% of the rest of the industry. And that's a testament to my people feeling safe and supported. They do have the tools, they have the resources, but what they can speak up if they don't. It's don't make excuses. You have what you have. That's a very old school management technique that is not going to lead millennials. Like, people poo-poo on millennials. Some of my best team are elder millennials and junior millennials. They're driving my company right now. And it's because we give them the credit, the tools, the resources, and the time to exceed beyond our expectations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I would just say to Joanne that I think the companies that don't do that are the ones that are in danger.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at all the stock buybacks and there's a lot of companies that are way overvalued, and it's all on paper. It's not through management and teams.
Mm-hmm.
It's through outsourcing and derivatives. Mm-hmm.
Jason?
Steve, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Here's where I want to go, though.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So help us understand how a small business can really measure moving into more of a people-centered organization.
So one of the first big steps, from traction. I'm getting echo. Are you guys?
No, we're okay.
Okay, super. So we started with one-on-ones. So we have a one-on-one meeting once a week with the executive team, and then once a month with the production team. And that's just asking them questions, asking them to share something, win and success, and something at work and personal challenges that they're facing. So a challenge is something that they can control, and then share an issue. An issue is something they can't control, and then we talk about development and engagement. How are they using their strengths? What have they learned by that? What would they like to learn? Then we have them talk about their big goal for the quarter and a small goal. And then the last question is, on the scale from 1 to 5, how safe and supported do they feel? And that, in those simple questions, there can be a lot of discussions, and sometimes that's a 20-minute conversation, and sometimes that's an hour conversation. And it changes during the year, but having the conversations with your team is the first way to get it connected and be aware of how much they want to contribute to the company if you let them.
Yeah, we're having some echoing. We're hearing echo coming a little bit. So thanks for letting us know, Sid. We're hearing it too. Hashtag first world problems. Right? So here's a question that's coming in from our audience is how would you recommend that how would you recommend influencing other CEOs to help them understand these opportunities that they have?
You have to have that conversation with them, but leading by example. When they see your company succeeding and they see how low turnover, high productivity, high job satisfaction, a lot of CEOs are always eager to learn. The very best and most successful, they're always looking around to see, what can they learn? How can they improve their company? So if they see other companies succeeding like that, that's the best way to get their attention. And you just have to share that story like I'm doing right now with as many people so that they can find it. Because part of the responsibility of having a great company in a community and supporting the community is supporting your local community and the community at large, which is in your industry and in the country.
You bet, because you have an opportunity to, because of your success and because you're top in your industry, in your area, you have a lot of influence on other people who are running their own companies. And so, wow, listening to you would be a smart plan. I do know that, Gallup, for the employee who doesn't have the benefit, I would encourage them to look up articles, like from Gallup Corporation, who's done a fantastic job of measuring strengths-based organizations and some of the ROI that a company can expect. And so being able to push that into your leadership, your manager, those are things that you can do proactively if your company is not yet there. So yeah, Joanne is saying she's tried some of that and hasn't had any success. So I don't know what to tell you, but keep trying, or keep looking for a company that will support and safety, like Steve is saying. It's critical today, and I'm just going to suggest that we're going to see a lot of corporate failure from companies that don't provide that for their people. Or they'll have people leave. They'll have a, like an employee turnover. They'll increase in that, So,
Steve, do you work with a coach yourself at all?
So I worked with Darren Vassimi for 34 Strong, and we worked with him for about 3 months, and then we're going to start working with him again next year a little bit. And I also work with Tap the Potential, and I also work with Proof Management, Monroe Porter out of Virginia. And I've been working with Proof Management. He's a business coach for about 20 years. And Tap the Potential, I've been working with them for about 3 years. And with Tap the Potential, they do a lot of so they offer a leadership program and a coaching program for our team members. So I've had people go through that are going through that and have been through that. So we're always, one of the big things I tell all my team is you can't be the same person next year you are today. So we're always have them in some type of training. Skill Path last year is a national seminar company, and everybody had to go to 2 communication seminars through Skill Path last year. So we're always trying to learn and improve.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, you're really investing into your team and the people there, and that's got to be rewarding not only for you but certainly for them to be able to take in that much information and be able to grow themselves and see themselves in a different light.
Yeah, when people come back and share stories that they've used their coaching at home with their children or helped understand their relationship with their spouse better, that's really meaningful. But to watch someone come on as a laborer and 10 years later is a manager of 6 or 8 people, there's a lot of satisfaction in that. People buying homes, buying cars that are not junkers to drive. That there's a lot of satisfaction in that, really contributing to people's lives.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying before, that I think because of the crisis that we're in, that people are reflecting, and they are wanting companies to invest in them and their human development. There's just no question that it's out there. And I think that with the disruption that we have faced, that it's going to come all the more to the forefront, of people's thinking, that, listen, I got to have something that's in alignment with who I am and what I do and what I do best, So I don't think I'm alone in seeing a lot of people kind of reflecting on that. Are you seeing that too?
In the business community, I talk to a lot of different business owners. People are so in it right now that I have not heard that conversation, and I don't. That might happen. I don't talk to a lot of the other employees, so from other companies, so I don't know that. But I do know that people are, especially that millennial generation, they want to align with a company that aligns with their values and their meaning in life, and not necessarily just about the retirement and just about the salary. They want some company that is going to help them develop as a person.
How long, Steve? I mean, the lawn care business is something that I would expect. Typically, there's a lot of turnover, but I would think that with the way that you're doing things, do you have employees stay with you for a lot longer? I mean, how have you had people with you for quite a while?
Yeah, we have 20-year employees, 10-year employees, 15 years. We've had, in 12 years, we've had 3 people quit and 3 people get fired out of 25. So, and it was really a good fit when they left. All 6 of those people did not belong in this company because of the learning attitude and the improvement attitude. If you just want to come, if you want to come here for a paycheck, we're not a paycheck company. We want people to grow. The company has grown. In 2010, we had 700 customers, and now we have 3,000.
That's amazing.
Wow.
So, as we bring people on, they've had to want to be part of that growth.
Yeah, they want to work.
They want to win, right? They want
to win. Yes. Yeah. And the studies have proven that, if you were to ask someone, like, what do they want in life? Like, what do you want? What is the meaning of life? Or why are you here on the planet, or whatever? What do you want out of life would be the question. And Gallup actually does this in a world poll. They ask, what do you want? And you would think that people would say, harmony, world peace, family issues, those love, those kinds of things. But that's not what they say at all. They say they want a good job. And right. So what you have created in your organization through coaching and personal development of your people is a space where, why would they ever leave? They have a good job. That's what you've created, Steve, is you've created good jobs.
Yes, they have good jobs, and they care about each other, but in a way that not that they're trying to take care of each other, but they want to see the other person win. So we're not competing against each other at work. We're like, the bonuses are all based on that team, and everybody wants that team to win. So yeah, they're good jobs, and they feel good about where they work. They don't have to, worry about what's going to happen to them or how they're going to be treated. And so I want my people to go home and be the mom, the dad, the husband, the wife. I don't want them going home worrying about work. I want them to be who they are at home and not an extension of their workplace. And so when they show up here, I need them 100% here. And when they're home, I want them 100% home. So if I can get that close, that's good for me.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah. Steve, do you have any advice that you can share with other managers, or maybe something about getting through this particular time in our country, but just something that you could share with people?
So, as a activator communication, I want to overtalk. I think you have to over communicate with questions and then listen, because we all don't have the same concerns. We all don't have the same exact struggle. Not that your team is asking you to fix their struggles or fix all their concerns, but you can listen to it and let them know that you're there for them and you're there on their side. And if you have high context, you want to fix it. You don't need to do that. You just need to understand. Yes, they're struggling with that. Yes, you're with them. You understand they're going through that, and just be respectful of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, the reality is that we are all doing the best that we know how in whatever moments that we are through, this situation. So yeah, you are really a high touch manager. And I think that's what people are calling for now. And so we just have to figure out the new way of doing it, because in many cases today, it has to be online.
Yeah, we use Zoom a lot for our executive meeting today was through Zoom. And, when we have meetings outside, it's all 10 feet apart. So, there's ways to do it, texting, Facebook messaging, and just letting people know you're there for them. We're over communicating now, but in a soft way. So.
Sure. Just like, hey, how you doing? Or what's going on today? Or what's one fun thing you did? Or just things that will let them know that it's a touch point and that
Absolutely.
you care.
Just let them know that you're there for them.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, what an amazing story.
Steve, how can people get in touch with you, keep up with you?
So we're on Facebook at American Landscape and Lawn Science, and online, lawnscience.com. And if people have questions, they can get a hold of me through that. I'll talk to people.
Yeah, gosh, if you are a small business owner and you're looking for the way to really increase your retention, have happier employees who are, ready to contribute and serve the common goal of your company, then you need to reach out to Steve, because he'll show you the way, right?
Yes, especially in the green industry and contracting industry, I have a soft spot in my heart, because it's a hard way to make a hard living. And there's a lot of struggle that goes with it. And, if I can help people, they don't have to struggle that much. I'm all for that.
Awesome. Just amazing.
Steve, thanks for taking the time to join us today and being here and sharing your story and what you're doing with your employees. We really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Absolutely.
Yeah. And we'll see you in the lobby in a minute.
Thank you for the invite.
You bet. Thanks.
What a great guy.
I know. Gosh, I just wish every company would operate that way.
Yeah, I mean, to have a manager that cares for your employees so much, to really invest in their development, and I mean, you can tell that he obviously cares about everybody that works for him, and I just think
absolutely. Yeah. And how interesting, you just would never think that a landscape company would start to implement these changes and then see such an amazing, return, especially like his retention and all that. Wow. Really amazing.
I mean, and for our shows, it's different, because we have typically talked with white collar workers, businesses and things like that. And so to think about implementing these types of skills and implementing the strengths assessment into what you're doing in that atmosphere is something a little different. And I think it's great. And I think Steve's doing a perfect job with it.
Fantastic.
Find out how to be better managers from Steve.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, everybody. And tomorrow we have another show coming up in our second Discover Coaching series.
Yeah. Don't forget, you can find us at Coach Talk TV on Facebook, or you can just go to coachtalk.tv. Also go to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/C/ Coach Talk TV. Give us a like on there, subscribe to the channel, and then ring the notification bell to find out when all of our new shows come out. And then if you just happen to be driving and you want to listen to a conversation, you can find us on the podcast at iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and many of your other favorite podcast outlets. And we are so happy to be able to get these messages out and have great guests like Steve Bousquet to share their information.
There you go. And where can we find you, Mr. Baffrey?
I'm hiding right now. But you can find me on my social media at Baffrey, Baffrey, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. That's about all I do.
There you go. And you can find me at rhondaboyle.com. So we can't wait to see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Have a great day.
Thanks.